Alright, what is up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video we're going to be looking at, my favorite, Black-Yellow Charlotte Linlin. We're going to be talking about the direction that Black-Yellow Linlin is going currently. And about, earlier this week I did release a video on Black and Yellow leaders coming out in the future. But for now we are still stuck with just Linlin. So let's go ahead and take a look at some decks and just kind of get an idea. See what we can figure out, because I think that this is one of the most slept on leaders in the game, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way about their favorite leader and stuff like that. I understand. That's not lost on me. I do understand that. There is such a thing as bias and whatnot, but I do say this from a point of seeing success here and there with the deck and multiple other people as well. But I think a lot of people understand that when it comes to tournaments, people have to pay money to enter these big tournaments, and they don't want to play something that is necessarily not proven itself. Like certain things are already established, and if you want to go yellow, you might want to go this. If you want to go black, you might want to go this. But to go black and yellow seems uncomfortable, uncomfortable in the minds of a lot of people. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is the last list over from the East, when they were in OP-05. So you see the date, 11/19/2023. This was over in the East in their OP-05 format. And it went 4-0 at some local card shop, which is not bad. That's nothing to scoff at. It doesn't say what it played against, but I can tell you right now, I think Charlotte Linlin has a very, very strong matchup, like at least 50-50, against every single deck in the format, outside of Katakuri, because Katakuri can just match tempo and just has more life and is just more aggressive. So it's a little bit different because of this card right here. But versus an L, this is a card that actually gives us an advantage versus that yellow deck. And I actually like my matchup into an L with Black-Yellow Linlin from the limited amount of experience I've had playtesting. So this was the last list that came out of the East, and I have talked about this list. I have featured it on the channel. It looks like the current direction Black-Yellow Charlotte Linlin, Black-Yellow Linlin is going is with Gidatsu, which is a 5-cost 6K 1K counter that can KO a character based on their life, or excuse me, based on your opponent's life. So if your opponent has 3 life, well then, Gidatsu is a 5-cost 6K that's going to KO a 3 or less. So that's very powerful. Now imagine, say it's later in the game, where your opponent might only have 1 or 2 life cards left. Well, now Gidatsu is a 5-cost 6K that can KO, that can basically KO a searcher, right, or KO just a little 2-cost character. That's where Ice Age steps in and allows him to KO anything. Basically anything that's a 5 or less with Ice Age. And if you're playing defensively, which is the way I would recommend you play, now you're going to be able to hit anything that's like an 8 or 9 or less. Same idea with Yamato. Now Yamato, this is a 9 cost, so it would cost 10 Dawn to use this with Ice Age, but still that's not that hard to pull off. This goes off your life and your opponent's. So if you have 2 life and your opponent has 3 life and you combo this with an Ice Age, you're KOing anything in the game. And you're establishing a 9K body. Thunderbird is the same thing. I think it's called something else, like Zap. Hino Zap or something like that is what it's technically called in the version that we have in English. This is just a placeholder name for the website. But this is a 2-cost, and then it's just straight up Gidatsu's effect and trigger main Gidatsu's effect. So these cards, Great Eruption and Ice Age, are very, very strong for what we're trying to do. They give us a bigger range for our removal. And this deck doesn't have a ton of removal, but if you look at this here, you have 4, 8, and 11 just right here on the 3 cards we just talked about. And then technically Katakuri is removal as well. Right. And another thing I do want to mention is that Gidatsu single-handedly, especially with the event as well, because it's the same effect, this single-handedly helped fix our match against Katakuri. Because one issue we had against Katakuri is they start dropping down the 7-cost Charlotte Linlin, and you just say, okay, you gain a life, so I don't have to lose a life. You know, well, Gidatsu wants them to gain life because he only gets stronger. And if think about it, if your opponent has like 6 life and you drop Gidatsu, you're hitting a 6 and under. And then if you combo that with a Eruption, Great Eruption, you're hitting an 8 and under. And if you combo that with an Ice Age, you're hitting anything in the game. You know, it's just extremely, extremely powerful. We are seeing One-Legged Toy Soldier, 2 cost 2k, just activate main, trash this card, -3 to a character. Suru, -2 to a character. Tashigi, -2 to a character. So you see what's going on here. You have all of your 2k counters can reduce cost if needed, so they do have a very strong utility. You have 3 of some of the strongest blockers in the entire game for their cost, like Fukuro, Borsalino, and Sabo. Kuzan is just nice for drawing cards, obviously. And if you can just play him on curve on turn 2, well, you know, they better hope they can remove him, because imagine -4 to the cost of one of their characters while also using Gidatsu. So, you know, you let him sit on the board, and if they don't deal with it, your Gidatsu is basically hitting anything in the game. And then, of course, your big finishers are Charlotte, Linlin, and Yamato. Katakuri is just a strong utility spot. I don't think we need to be running 4 of this card. I've said that from the very beginning. I think the card is good. It's not a matter of the card not being good, because for one cost, you can combo this with Suru or Great Eruption and hit any card in the game. I fully am aware of that. However, it still doesn't matter in the sense that it's just an 8 cost 8k. It's you know, it's not exactly huge for what it's doing, and Katakuri can't just give you a life in the way that Charlotte Linlin can, and the way that Yamato can. Because if anyone has played this deck, you understand fully that Yamato just flat out gains you a life, KOs a card, and gets you a 9k body. That generates you card advantage. Same thing with Charlotte Linlin. You're gaining a life, establishing this huge body, and your opponent loses 1 life. That is a massive tempo swing, guys. These 2 cards, Yamato and Charlotte Linlin, are massive tempo swings. Yes, Katakuri on curve can be strong, and then it helps you combo with Gidatsu. I get it. It does have potential. But I'm just trying to tell you, don't be afraid if you don't have access to this card, because it's like a $45 card. Excuse me. Do not, you know, fret if you don't have access to this card. The only other extremely expensive card in this deck currently that I'm aware of are these 2 up here, Borsalino and Kuzan, especially Borsalino. I think it's about $25 a card. Yeah, this card really is good, guys. But here's the good news. Moving forward, you're probably going to be able to drop down to 3 of these and run like 3 or 4 Rebeccas as well to compensate. Okay, Kuzan as well. I would run 2 to 3 of these. If you don't have all of them, that's fine. And then Sabo is a good replacement as well. You can just run 4 of him, because this card's much cheaper, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so that was the first deck, and that one took the longest to kind of walk through. The next list we're going to look at is from a really awesome YouTuber that you guys should check out if you have not checked him out already. His name is Los Fiends. Like I said, definitely check him out. But we're just going to take a look at his list. We're not going to watch this video he did or anything. He was very, very happy with the way the list played, and he does very well in the video. Like I said, check this video out. Check out his channel. He has a lot of really good playtesting videos. But this list of Black Yellow Linlin, I think he really got onto something here. When he was the first person I've seen combining the Rebecca Hina engine to what we were already getting. Because everything else on here I've already been using. Well, Khalif I don't use as a 2k counter because I wasn't running Rebecca. The idea is Khalif as a 2k counter you can get back with Rebecca, because otherwise you would just run Suru. Suru is just, in my personal opinion, it's just a specifically better, more you know, useful 2k counter because it only costs 1. So yeah, and the Manshuri, I'm not completely sold on the Manshuri yet, but I think this does have potential. The Rebecca especially. I wish this thing would. Why is that 480? Hang on 1 second, guys. There we go. My apologies. I think that this list right here that Los Fiends came up with is just outstanding. I think he's really onto something here. I'm going to show my list at the end. We're going to look at one more list. It's going to be the list that I'm considering running and I'm recommending people run. I just think he really found something clutch with Rebecca and the Hina, which is from the Sakazuki combo, the blue-black Sakazuki setup, right? It's from that. And I get running the Khalifa. You can get it back with Rebecca. I totally understand that. You can't get Super back. But I still think it's just a better option, especially since you already have... Like, these are the cards you're going to get back with Rebecca, depending on which situation, right? If you need a blocker, you're actually going to grab Borsalino back. You might get Sabo if you absolutely have to, but Borsalino is going to be your primary target if you need a blocker. If you need a 2K counter, well, it doesn't matter. You take Bartolomeo or Toshigi. Either one will suffice, and that's 8 options. Then, if you need cost reduction, you grab Hina. That's just how Rebecca works. If you need card draw up somehow, I don't really think that's an option, but you get Kuzan. It is what it is. It always depends, but the 3 major things you're going to be getting is either a blocker, a 2K counter, or cost reduction. That is how you use Rebecca. That is her function in this deck. Having that extra utility is outstanding. And Manshuri helps you grab another Rebecca, which, for those who don't know, Rebecca is going to help you outlast. It's going to help you get through the attrition war in this game and just let your leader's effect and your Linlin and your Yamato carry you to victory, right? And the only thing that this deck doesn't have as much of, like we saw in the last deck, is cost reduction. Yes, both of them had Kuzans, but remember, the last deck that we looked at had 4... it ran 4 Great Eruptions and 2 Ice Age. Well, this is the brilliance behind going the Hina. Hina is a on-play -4. Yes, it does cost 3 Dawn compared to just 1 Dawn for Ice Age and Great Eruption, but you're establishing a 5k body, and you're getting another target for your Rebecca. You're synergizing the deck. You're combining the strengths of the deck together and like helping it get even more consistency. Really, really strong there. Gadatsu is a 4 of. This is excellent. I think his numbers are correct here on 4 and 3. I think 7 is the magic number for the big characters. Because as I started playing the deck more and more, I was actually going down more and more on the big characters so that I had more utility in the mid game, so that I could stabilize, so that I could even drop a big character, right? But I do think 7 is a magic number. And notice he dropped the Katakuris. I completely understand, and I respect that decision. And now we don't just have Gadatsu as removal, we have the Zap here, the Hina Zap. Just excellent. Excuse me. What else? 4 Borsalinos. Like I said, this is strong. 4 Kuzans, 4 Hinas. Yeah. Everything else is very self-explanatory. This is just a really well-refined list. It's very straightforward. There's not a whole lot of 1-ofs and 2-ofs. There can be, but there's not, and that's just fine. Right? Everything in this deck is a 4-of, except 2 Manshuri, 2 Narukabura Arrow, 3 Zaps, and 3 Yamatos. Everything else is a 4-of. Very clean list. I think Los Fiends did an outstanding job. I think he did this deck justice. And, yeah. Again, please go check him out. He has awesome content all the time. Last but not least, this is kind of the list that I'm flirting with right now. Let me blow it up. Sorry, I should have already had it like this. There we go. Let me just get rid of Big Mom. There we go. So this is kind of the list I've been flirting with currently. Notice it is extremely similar to... Oh, I didn't even do the changes in this one. I'm sorry. We will change it together. This is literally the list that Los Fiends was running, but I'm running the 4 Suru instead of the 4 Khalifa. Now, one thing I'm going to mention is I'm probably going to drop down a few Rebeccas, and I think I don't want anything to do with Manshuri. I'm okay with the Narukabura Arrow, but I think I'm actually going to drop that down as well. I think it's a good card, and it's a great combo piece to run with your Yamatos for extra defense. So I might keep that, and even for now I probably will keep it. But I'm going to drop down a Sabo, and then I have 5 cards. Let me, I'm sorry guys, I should have already had this ready, but I'll just show you how I set this up anyway. Sort by cost, there we go, save, and go to Builder, and full screen. And we're just going to go down to it. I'm just going to show you. The only thing I wanted to add 2 more 2K counters. And it was going to be a beige is what I wanted to add. Sorry, guys. I'm about to just search it. Yeah, it's going to take me too long. Let me just do it like this. Just back out of here. So, beige. So, I was going to add 2 beige. And I was actually going to add some more events. I was going to add the Great Eruptions. Because I do feel like this card... I think it does have a spot. I think it really does have a spot. And the cost reduction is everything for what we're trying to do so that it can combo well with our Hino bird zaps. And I'm going to be honest, I'm just going to drop the 2 Narukabura arrows here. And this is kind of where I'm leaning. Just straight up, like, I probably could have done that without having to build that. But anyway, this is kind of the direction in which I'm leaning. I kind of want a little more of an offensive, like, aggressive package. I like having the gang beige. At least it's a 2 of. I could drop this down to a 3 of, you know, or you know, like, go 3 and 3 like this, like, -1 Suru, up 1 gang beige. That's fine, especially since I'm going up the Great Eruptions. But I just feel like, and another possibility too, I haven't even thought about, is maybe dropping down a Hina. But long story short, sorry guys, I go down all these rabbit holes. I think this is at least the direction the deck needs to start going. I do think there's something to be said here. I do think this, guys, if you have not tried this list out, you should give it a try. Fair warning though, this is not an easy deck to pilot. This is not some, you know, low-level deck to pilot. I don't mean that in like a mean way. Like, I don't even know the correct way to say it. I think that this is one of the highest skill level decks to run in the game. Just straight up, guys. One more thing I do want to mention is I was running a list that was pretty, what's the word we're looking for here? That was pretty big Mom Pirates, like tempo version, where I was running, what's her name? Pudding. Like, this was the odd curve I was going for. The odd curve that I was trying to run was Pudding into Sparrow, into Gadatsu. I know that's not Big Mom Pirates, but still. Into 7-Lin, into Yamato, into 10-Lin. And that was something I was experimenting with and was having some decent success with on, like, you know, like the simulator and stuff. But I still was running into snags here and there where if I didn't get the perfect curve, it just didn't feel great. Whereas this list right here just feels so consistent, or at least something close to this. Y'all saw I did change it around some. I will not be offended if you guys try Los Fiend's version of the deck, guys. Please do. I think he really, really is onto something with that. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up there, guys, because I can ramble on for forever and ever. Y'all know that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you have not already. If you have any comments or questions, do not hesitate to put it in the comment section below. This is probably the list I'm going to be running tomorrow. I'm going to be going to a tournament. Well, at least at the time of recording this. So tomorrow for me being Thursday the 14th. Yeah, I'm pre-recording this video. Thursday the 14th, I'm probably going to be running a list that is very, very similar to this. The only issue I'm running into currently is the Gadatsus. I only drew 1 Gadatsu. I do have 2 Rebeccas. I only have 1 Gadatsu. Everything else I have in this list, every single other card I have. So in the meantime, what I might have to do just to compensate if I can't get the Gadatsus by tomorrow from, you know, bumming them off someone, I'll probably go, let me go let's do full screen. I'll go 2 Mansherries, and then I'll just go up another 2K counter. Whatever, you know, just go super hard with 2Ks. Oops, that didn't work like I thought it would. There we go. Oops. Alright, now let me go full screen. Or, I don't know, I could drop that off. That's fine. That's fine, and I'll go up the 4th Sabo. Something along these lines. Y'all get the idea. And I will do an update, the following day whenever I can on my results and explain how it went. Well, guys, good luck at tournaments this weekend. Please don't be afraid to hop on the Discord, hang out with us on there, tell us about your match, your match results. Tell us about the decks, your theory crafting, all the ideas you have going on. And yeah, that's about it, guys. All right, so again, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and until next time, peace.